What's up, YouTube? My name is Ro, and welcome back to Ro Centrals. Today, I'm going to be reviewing a movie with you called Bird Box, which has been causing a lot of hype in the internet community lately. And I thought I'll put my own 2 cents in there. I love to watch movies, and I'll let you know my opinion on it. Bird Box is a movie that was directed by Susanne Bier, and it was a remake of a book, or made based off of a book. This movie is about a post-apocalyptic Earth, and actually it's not even post-apocalyptic, it's like current apocalyptic, because right now people are out there in the streets killing themselves. Do I know why? No, I do not. Why I look over there? I don't know why. But still, yes, people are out there killing themselves. We don't know why. And throughout the movie, we don't really get an explanation as to why they're doing it. But it does make for an interesting movie. When I was watching with my fiance, she did bring up a good plot point, which was that it was similar to the plot of The Happening, which was a movie that came out a few years ago. In The Happening, it was similar in that people were killing themselves for some reason. But the only difference with The Happening was that people were about to kill themselves a little bit different, because first they will feel like an ominous breeze. Then after that, they'll just stop. And after they stop, they walk backwards, mumble something real quick. And then after that, they're going to killing themselves. And that was different from Bird Box, because in Bird Box, it's like you didn't have to just feel a breeze. You'd have to actually see whatever that thing was, and then you'll be affected by it. Some people will see like a dead family member, for example, or some type of regret, and then it was so strong that they wanted to kill themselves. For example, walking into a car that was on fire and killing yourself. And that was where the differences really started for me. In Bird Box, there was also this difference of a homicidal intent, just meaning that you didn't have to see something to die. Apparently, some people that saw this creature or entity, they became infatuated by it, and they wanted to see it, and they wanted other people to see it, and they had some kind of mental illness, and they weren't affected the same way when they saw this creature. They wanted to see the creature, and they wanted other people to see them too. Apparently, they thought they were beautiful, and this is what made them lead to want people to see it. Only thing is, when other people see it that weren't mentally ill, they ended up killing themselves. But the mentally ill was flourishing. And that was one of the key points. In The Happening, it was just, you just had to really worry about being in a group and being worried about you killing yourself. In Bird Box, you had to worry about seeing whatever this thing was, and also worried about other people trying to make you see it as well. And then they would, try to, and if you fought back against these people, they'll also try to kill you. So it's like, regardless of what you do, you're probably going to die. One thing I really did like about the Bird Box was that they left the audience in the dark. And when I say in the dark, I just mean that you learned as the actor learned. There's nothing that you really know, and then you're like, then everything is unfolding based on what you know. As the movie progresses, you progress. As the character learns, you learn. And at the same time, it goes vice versa. If they don't know anything, you don't know anything. And that continues on throughout the whole movie. They do give vague explanations as to why this is happening, but it's only one person that really mentions it, and it doesn't really go anywhere. It's for like a 5-minute rant about why it's happening, and it's never brought up again in the entire movie. And that can work for the movie because it leaves you in that suspense and that thrill, and you don't know what's going to happen next. But it draws back from the story in that towards the end of the movie, you don't really get to get closure. And I mean, when I watch movies, I like to get a closure. I don't like to like fill in the blank for myself and to say, oh, I think this is that, and I think this is this. I like the movie, honestly, to let me, you don't have to spoon feed it to me, but at least let me get some kind of building block to work on that for myself. And this movie did not do that. Honestly, I'd rather this movie have a part two, and then after that, get into the explanation so I could know. There was one actor that popped up in this movie that was very unexpected, and I didn't know what to think of his performance, or what I would expect from his performance. But he did a pretty good job. He didn't have too many lines, and the lines that he did have, it worked for me. And I'll let you watch the movie so you could know who that was, because I don't want to ruin that for you. But overall, the performance in the movie were great. I did like them. They did draw me into the characters and make me care about who they were and where they were going. Even if a character was being an ass, you knew he was being an ass, but you still honestly cared for him in a way. Like, they didn't take too long to do character development, but they did enough where you felt for that character, and if something happened to that character, you felt, you felt the loss of that character from the movie itself, because I feel like each of the characters that they introduced, they did play a vital role to the movie, and when they were taken from that movie, you felt that aspect of the movie die off, and it did work, to the benefit of the movie, that is. So towards the movie, I did have a lot of questions that weren't answered, and you didn't really get the scope of the damage that was really done. And you'd wish that you had a little bit more of that in the movie. I mean, overall, the movie was very good, and I would watch it again. It's just that one aspect that I didn't like too much was that the scope was just, you just didn't feel it. There was only a few locations that this movie took place in, and so the outside world was very isolated from the movie. Even though you know that this was affecting everyone, it didn't feel that way to me. It just felt like it was affecting these people in this town, and that took away from it for me. And because you'd have to use your own imagination as to what's happening out there. All you know is you have these group of people, and whatever you think is happening to the world, you could only use those people to gauge what was happening out there. And then other questions I had just related to how did certain things happen? There was an incident with a boat. I don't know how the boat went from the house to the water, or where they got the boat from. I mean, there was a time skip in the movie, and that's when these things could have played a part. But it would have been nice to know, just because it went from one location to another, and you felt like something was missing in between. And that's one aspect I think I would have actually liked to see. But it didn't take away from the movie as a whole, and the movie was pretty good. So the last question I have for this movie, or I had towards the end of this movie, is why are people with mental illnesses affected or not affected by this entity and wanting to kill themselves? Is it like some kind of chemical situation in the brain, or does it affect the way they see the monster? No. And that is one of the big questions in the movie, like this. I hope that someone out there will be able to answer that question. But as of right now, there is no explanation. And that's pretty much it. So let me know, have you seen Bird Box, and what did you think? Have you seen it happening? And do you think that they relate to each other? And if you have any thoughts on this movie, just let me know, and we'll have a good conversation down in the comments below. Have a good night. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again for another video like this one.